Hey everybody, welcome to the Subspace App Sync. This is the week August 16th of 2022. Let's get started. We have 2 tickets done in this last sprint. We have notified Discord community channel of pre-releases. I was going to talk a little bit about this.
Sure, why not? So after this issue is completed, what we will accomplish is when we release a new version of the Subspace Desktop, our users will be notified automatically throughout the Discord channel, and so that they will get a link and the version for that new version of the Subspace Desktop release, so they can start testing on it or get the news about it.
Okay, cool, awesome. Thanks for doing that. False positive error page on front end when node is restarted.
I think it's me. So Osgun created an issue, but I implemented the fix. So far, it's a workaround, but the actual fix is in progress. So the problem was that, as we know, users can rename their nodes. And while syncing, they can rename a node and front end will query the RPC, but node is restarting, so it won't work. And originally our application, since we introduced error page, was showing error page. And in order to fix that, I implemented like retries. So if the API RPC endpoint fails for a while, yeah, we have a number of retries. I think it's 10 retries by default with an interval of 1 second. And so currently it works, but it's not like an elegant solution. And I'm working on the better one at the moment. And yeah, I can describe it in details later.
Okay, sounds good. In progress, Tari update feature to handle version updates distribution.
Yeah, so since we already have a release, I can resume working on this on the next iteration. So we will have a menu item to install update, and it will show like this option. And yeah, that's why it's in progress.
Can we do this for this current milestone since we have 6.11 formally out now, and we haven't tagged 6.12?
Yeah, we can do it.
Okay, let's just try to cram it in for this week then. Inline documentation of code. I think this is still ongoing. I think we're just missing a REST site, right? That was good.
True.
Okay, let's try to get this in for 6.13, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in detail. But we should try to get as much documentation in as well as testing for that for the next milestone. I wrote this one, code citing for Windows. Okay, so last week the certs expired, so I think Justin helped renew those again. So I think the last status update is we're waiting for the verification to come through. I think that's what's going on. Justin, any updates on that?
Yeah, I just checked it this morning. It's still in the verification pending status. I sent all the information in required, so it should hopefully go through. I didn't have any issues last time. Should be any day now, hopefully, once it goes through.
Okay. Context around this is we need the certs to be verified so that we can continue with the code signing. Otherwise, right now our releases are blocked on that. So, is there a way for us to kind of just like cut out a pre-release and not code sign, so that we can at least have a pre-release version to test around with?
Yeah, I mean, we can. All that needs to be done is we can either modify the workflow temporarily or take out the Windows code signing, the certificate information from the Tori configuration file, and it'll stop the Tori bundler from code signing with Windows. It wouldn't cause any issues as far as the build goes. Obviously, it would just be the security. Users would get an extra pop-up on Windows, but that's not really too big of an issue.
So why don't, here's my proposal. Why don't we create another ticket another workflow, and then let's have a workflow that's called pre-releases that doesn't require code signing. I think we won't encounter this again until next year, so we'll just have to be better about coordinating the renewals of it. But I think if we create another workflow for releases that doesn't do a code signing, then we can release that version. And then for the communities that want to use it, that modal shouldn't be a big deal.
As Justin mentioned, it's not just the workflow, it's also the Tauri.conf JSON file. The configuration file needs to be changed as well.
Is there a way for us to have the configuration file like dependent on some other environment variable so that we don't have to like just modify for this particular case?
We can have more than one configuration and supply one of them in the as the comment, like choose this one for this workflow.
Okay. Okay. Why? So, all right. So then let's create one just for pre-releases that doesn't depend on code signing. How does that sound with everyone?
Justin, how long will it take to get that certificate renewed?
Generally, it's pretty quick. I initiated it a few days before it actually expired last week. From what I remember, when I first did it, it was about a week overall from purchase to verification to getting the product. So I expect it pretty much any day now, to be honest, presuming there aren't any issues. And then once we get it, obviously, it's just updating the secrets in GitHub or what have you.
Arthur, do you think we could just wait till the end of the week to see if we get it so we don't have to create this workaround workflow?
Yeah, I mean, okay, fine, let's do that then. If it's gonna be, I anticipate it's like probably like a one-off situation this time anyway, so if that's the case, then fine, let's just wait it out. Okay. Implement ETV testing. I think this is still TBD.
Yeah, I'm currently working on this one. We are using WebDriver, which is a recommended framework for Tauri, which is the only one supported at the moment. And unfortunately, it doesn't support macOS at the moment. So I'm working on this like in CI. I'm testing in CI, and currently job fails, so I'm debugging why.
Okay. And then this is implement subscription for sync state. I think this is a 306 one. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a more like a better solution for the problem I described earlier. So instead of having a loop, we will have a subscription, which is supported by Polkadot.js API. And when we restart the node, we will stop the subscription and resume after node has restarted.
Okay. Awesome. Excellent. Cool. Let's go over really quickly the milestones, and then we can come back to blocks because I kind of want to talk about how I want to queue up 613. But for 612, this is the one that's going to be going out. So good job, everyone. Like we got quite a few code changes in. As mentioned, I think let's just wait then for the code signing verification to finally do the release. But this is the version that we will be sending out next. Okay. For 613, this is going to be around the end of the month. I think this is going to be important as we try to get ready for our security audit coming next month. So I kind of want to make sure that we get a lot of these high priority like documentation and testing in so that we can have a smooth and seamless security audit. Let's go back to the blocks. So I think top of mind for me is going to be this non-ASCII characters in Path Crash app on Windows. I think the last update. Yeah. Go ahead.
Nazar and I discussed in the issue, not in this one, but a related one in the monorepo. Should be linked in here, maybe. He said that in time we will not be using RocksDB and switch to ParityDB. Maybe Ivan can give more updates on that. And when that switch happens, this issue will be resolved on its own. Because for this RocksDB issue, it's not related to monorepo, it's not related to Subspace Desktop, it's basically an issue related to third party.
Yep, it's either like it will be fixed in the RocksDB, right? or we will just switch to the ParityDB. Yeah, it's not a priority right now for the monorepo, I guess. Yeah, so we have some ideas for that. Yeah, it's probably it can be implemented right now because we posted like a pull request into the merge VPR for ParityDB. So yeah, it just waits for completion, I guess.
Also, the same issue exists on monorepo as well. So with the same scenario, if a user wants to create a folder with their username, and if that username happens to include some non-ASCII characters, it fails also in the CLI application. So this is not strictly related to Subspace Desktop.
Ooh, okay, that makes sense. My only concern is if we go into the audit and we still have this issue, then might not be ideal. But I mean, I guess if it's in
What I'm saying
monorepo,
is this issue is not related to Subspace Desktop. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, no, I get that.
Arthur, is it a security concern? Is there a security related aspect of this bug, or is it just more of a bug that we'd
I think
like to
it's
get rid
just
of?
more of a bug that we want to get rid of, right? Because if the app crashes on that, I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
in
So
my
I
opinion,
agree. It's
go ahead.
important. We want to fix it because it's like a bad experience on both CLI and desktop, and we do have a lot of users that use non-ASCII characters. But I think it's probably something we need to address with Nazar since it's a more of a monorepo issue. Just so I understand, Yvonne, I thought we were switching everything to ParityDB, or that we had already done that. Is there a reason that we're still using RocksDB, or is that just the way we're doing it in the desktop application?
Yeah, at first we waited for the pull request for the ParityDB to be merged. Yeah, because we need some functionality on their side, and not to mirror the functionality from the RocksDB. But right now, I had the pull request, which like halfway implemented that. It was kind of closed by Nazar because it was designed but well. Yeah, and it's just that it's not priority as I can get from the Nazar to switch to ParityDB. Yeah.
Okay, so if I understand, we started to do the PR to make the API consistent, but that was put on hold.
Yep.
So we have to finish that PR internally, then we have to submit that to Parity. Parity has to approve it. Then once that's merged into ParityDB, then we can change all of our dependencies to only have ParityDB.
Oh, no. We just need to rewrite everything to the RocksDB at the moment. We don't need to wait, or to the ParityDB, sorry. We don't need to wait for the ParityDB maintainers, yeah. Everything is merged to what we need from the ParityDB, so everything's good.
So we literally just have to change our config to use ParityDB instead of RocksDB?
No. It's not about changing the config. It's about literally rewriting the our farmer code base to the ParityDB. It just needs a little bit more work. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Is there an issue for that in the monorepo?
Yes.
Yep.
Is that linked in there?
I hope
This
so.
issue?
I think I did, but I'm not sure.
Can we add that in so it has a reference there to blocked by that, and we can tag Nazar to let him know? Yeah. Arthur, do you mind trying to summarize that for Nazar?
Yeah.
We can start a discussion here on GitHub about it.
Yeah, sure thing. I can do that after this. Cool. Let's come back. I think the remaining ones is that all our blocked items right now is all dependent on 238. So I think we should start thinking about how do we want to move forward with this. So this 238, to give everyone an update again, is going to be our reader design dashboard ticket. So here's a couple of thoughts I had for it. 613 is largely going to be a lot of the documentation, implement testing to standardize it, but also since it's going to be cutting it close to September, we could either try to get the redesign in for the dashboard, which I think based on this ticket is just kind of simplifying the farm block list and refactoring design a little bit. But I think if we want to, we could try to start that initiative right now for 613 going into September, or we can do it afterward. But figured we should start planning this.
So we're gonna have 613 done on what day?
613 right now, we're queued up for August 29th.
Okay, so that means all development work and testing should be done. By that point, it should be merged by the 29th.
Yeah, I think
And
most of our things for that is going to be stability, documentation, testing, and fixes.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Do we feel like that's like fairly realistic that we're going to accomplish everything that we have on the agenda right now by that date?
I think we can get the documentation in if we focus on that. And I think end-to-end testing, I wouldn't expect for us to have a full end-to-end testing suite, but I think if we can get that started, rolling and implemented, then I feel good about that. But if we start to do a redesign, then that might be a large undertaking for August 29th, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that since we have the audit coming up, and then also the other things we have on the agenda for the month of September, that we should probably just focus on stabilizing and cleaning up what we have. And then if we're going to make any major changes, we can certainly, like maybe you and I, Arthur, or with the designer, we can work on the actual UI UX like in the background. But then probably after that release, we can start working with the team on the implementation of that UI UX. So I think we can do the design, but in terms of like the work for the team, it'll probably be for the following sprint.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds fair to me. Okay. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it for this sync. The backlog items we already talked about last week. I don't think we need to talk about it for this particular sprint. We can revisit this once we're done with the security audit and figure out how we can queue those in. Is there anything else from anyone that you guys want to discuss? Okay, just to sync up. So after this, let's just check in on the code signing. We'll wait for that. Otherwise, let's try to start getting these other fixes in until we can cut out the pre-release. Oh, and also to mention, let's see, if you guys want to take a look, I put the pre-release testing wiki here. So I chimed it in the product, if you guys see, but this is why we're going to send out to the Discord community, which I have already in the channel. But essentially, this is a quick walkthrough about how to create meaningful reports, some of the flows that they can walk through, and just generally how they can like send this information to us. Okay. All right. Well, there's nothing else then. Thanks again for watching.